let's have a picture of what true success looks. Are you on the set? And hopefully it's not like the beginning of adaptation. This is a set that doesn't exist where they come in and they go, oh, you're the writer. Okay? Or how many people see them getting their Oscar and have already bought their dress or their tuxedo? Come on, fess up, all right? Okay, very good. And again, the idea that I'm asking you to work in images, do you understand how we've changed our frame here? This is what we're doing. We have a unique thing that we do. We write moving pictures. And I think it's very important that we take our great gift back from all the other mediums. Do you understand? So the fact that we are writing for another medium doesn't make our work less. It just makes it more specific and unique. Okay, this is very important that you take this in. So there are no books written yet. Even my book doesn't quite cover this. This is my new work. That we need to use our words differently. We're more like poets or haiku writers, aren't we, really? Isn't that true? And that we try to make fragments, and we're trying to read a roadmap so that people watch our movies. Isn't that the goal? And our goal is to have people experience what we experience. Isn't that the real goal? Isn't that how you read something? Whether in a screenplay, you pick up a great screenplay like Shawshank Redemption, or I don't know, there's so many, Seven, Harry Met Sally, you all have your favorites, right? And don't you read them over and over? And it's almost like beads on a rosary, or you know, some kind of, I don't know, touchstones. Then you read those words and you make the pictures in your mind over and over, right? Or you watch movies and that's it. So I think that I would love, before I teach you, you know, some new tricks, to move into a place where I can actually be useful to you. And the first thing is you have to change the way you write, because you all write beautifully, but this will improve your writing. Do you understand? No matter how good you are, this reframing of how you use your words will lift your scripts to a new level. I mean, I really, I don't want to brag, but my students really do well. And this is because they're freer. Do you understand? They're not walking in someone else's footsteps. They're understanding that this is a new time, this is a new planet. Even the way I teach structure, the idea is that at the end of stories you're supposed to resolve what you set up in the first act. Isn't that what we're all taught? But we don't do that in our lives anymore, do we? We keep changing our lives. It's amazing time. No, this has never existed before. So the old way can't work because we're in a new way, and it's collective. I mean, who could imagine that Barack Obama could be president 10 years ago? Is that possible? Truthfully? I mean, if you saw a script, you'd say, oh, come on. Right? If you read a screenplay about him being elected, you go, oh, come on, that's not going to happen. So we're in this world where we need art. What's the purpose of art? The art is to show, to teach, to lead, to dramatize, and also to create hope. So your movies are never more important than they are now, because your job is to show people in a certain way without teaching or telling how to be. Right? Isn't that true? Right? That's why there's movies about people being pregnant and wars and stuff like that. So your job has never been more important, but you've got to do a better job, because the world is changing and people don't read anymore. It's a different world. Everything is pictorial. What you do is actually appropriate. And in a lot of my other work, this is becoming something that's very central, which is how do you write for a world that's iconographic, that's image, that you work on a computer? It can't be the same because everything's different. Am I making sense? So when you think of your third act, and again, I will talk in more depth. I'm going to now give you an overview because I want to come back. You have to think to yourself, people now, at the end of the second acts of our lives, come up with new ideas, right? Has everybody seen Garden State? This is my poster child this week. Okay, so at the beginning he comes home hoping he'll survive the funeral, but he forgets his medication, and by the end he's planning to have a life without medication. Okay, that movie couldn't have been written 10 years ago because no one would have understood the form. Does that make sense? Right? Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. He starts off one place, right? He ends up somewhere completely different. It's an amazing film in terms of the possibilities. So there's never been a time where we can even write movies that are so original. It's so amazing. But it requires a whole new skill set. All right? So are you willing to enter this with me? Show of hands, please. Okay, cool. All right, because I'm so excited about this. I could do this all day long. Now, let's move back. Okay, last night I taught a class in which I talked about the 4 questions. Do we remember that? Anybody remember that? Or were we so brain dead that it was like, what is that? Okay. Now, this is not in my book because this is newer work, okay? And hopefully I've been doing something since I wrote this book a couple of years ago. I'm not sitting on my hands, okay? So we're going to talk about this, and basically the way that my system is set up. But before I do this, I'm going to digress. Last 2 things that Hillel said. Okay, what was the first one? Can I hear it?
If you don't stand for yourself, you can stand for who will.
Who will? Okay, does that, now people believe that even more? Are we're going to get a new way of writing, and we're going to have everything our way, how we like it, okay? And they're going to say yes and give us money anyway, okay? Now the second thing that Hillel said, which calms me down from the first one, is if you only stand for yourself, what are you? Right, and doesn't that balance it out now? I'm not saying being an egotist, right? So if you stand for yourself, no one will, and if you only stand for yourself, who are you?